Hello, friends. There is a Social Security benefit worth up to $1,500 per month that a significant number of American seniors are not receiving right now. Not because they were denied it, not because they do not qualify, because they either never knew to apply, assumed they were ineligible, or made one specific decision at the time they enrolled that left a higher benefit unclaimed permanently. $1,500 per month, $18,000 per year, in addition to whatever Social Security benefit you are already receiving. And the seniors who are missing this money are not in unusual or complicated situations. They are widows. They are divorced spouses. They are married couples who coordinated their benefits without ever running the household numbers. And they are people who claimed at the wrong time based on a misunderstanding of how the benefit system actually works. My name is Linda Foster. I have spent 12 years as a certified retirement planner, and this is the conversation that produces the most immediate financial change for the people I work with. Let me walk through exactly where the $1,500 comes from and what you need to do to find out whether any of it belongs to you. The missing benefit comes from three specific Social Security entitlements that are consistently underutilized: survivor benefits, divorced spouse benefits, and the spousal coordination strategy that most married couples have never optimized. Let me start with the one that affects the largest number of people and carries the largest potential dollar amount: survivor benefits for widows and widowers. When a spouse dies, the surviving spouse is entitled to receive the higher of the two spouses' monthly Social Security benefits. If the deceased spouse was receiving more than the surviving spouse, the survivor's payment should increase to the deceased spouse's level. This is the survivor benefit. The critical detail that most people do not know is that this switch does not always happen automatically. If you were already receiving your own Social Security benefit when your spouse passed away, the Social Security Administration may not have automatically updated your payment to the higher survivor amount. You had to contact the SSA and apply for or confirm the survivor benefit. Many widows and widowers are receiving their own lower benefit months or years after their spouse's death, simply because nobody told them they needed to make a call. Their payment has not changed. The SSA has not proactively updated it, and the difference between their current benefit and the survivor benefit they are entitled to is being lost every single month. The maximum survivor benefit in 2026 is $5,181 per month for a surviving spouse of a maximum earner who delayed to age 70. For someone whose late spouse had a full retirement age benefit of $3,000 and delayed to 70, the survivor benefit is $3,720 per month. If the surviving spouse is currently receiving $1,200 per month on their own record, the difference is $2,520 per month. $30,240 per year. Lost. The action if you are a widow or widower currently receiving your own Social Security benefit. Call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 and ask specifically two questions. First, am I currently receiving my own retirement benefit or a survivor benefit? Second, is my late spouse's benefit on record, and would switching to the survivor benefit produce a higher monthly payment? If the SSA confirms that your late spouse's benefit was higher than what you are currently receiving, and the survivor benefit was not applied, you may be entitled to receive the higher amount going forward, and in some cases, a limited period of retroactive payment. Divorced spouse and divorce survivor benefits. If you were married for at least 10 years and have since divorced, you are entitled to a benefit based on your former spouse's Social Security record. While they are living, this divorced spouse benefit is up to 50% of their primary insurance amount. When they die, it increases to 100% of what they were receiving, called the divorce survivor benefit. Your former spouse does not need to know you are claiming. Your claim does not reduce their benefit or their current spouse's benefit in any way. The only requirements are that the marriage lasted at least 10 years, you are currently unmarried, and your own benefit is less than the divorced spouse benefit. Many divorced seniors assume that their entitlement ended with the divorce, or that claiming on a former spouse's record is somehow improper. Neither assumption is correct. The divorced spouse benefit is an earned entitlement. It exists specifically because Social Security recognizes the economic partnership that exists in a marriage, and the contribution that a lower earning or non-working spouse makes to the household even when it does not appear on a W-2. For a divorced woman whose own benefit is $700 per month and whose former husband's primary insurance amount is $2,800, the divorced spouse benefit is $1,400 per month. The monthly difference is $700. Over 20 years of retirement, that difference is $168,000. To check whether the divorced spouse benefit applies to your situation, call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213. Have your former spouse's name, their approximate date of birth, and their Social Security number if you have it. If you do not have the Social Security number, the SSA can often locate the record using name and date of birth. The spousal coordination strategy most married couples have never optimized. For married couples where both spouses have not yet claimed, or where one has claimed and one has not, the order and timing of claiming decisions creates a permanent difference in lifetime household income that most couples have never calculated. The fundamental principle is that the higher earner's claiming decision determines the survivor benefit for the rest of the surviving spouse's life. When the higher earner claims, whatever amount they lock in at that age is what the surviving spouse will receive when the higher earner dies. If the higher earner claimed at 62 with a 30% reduction, the surviving spouse receives the reduced amount for potentially decades. If the higher earner delayed to 70 and accumulated a 24% increase, the surviving spouse receives the larger amount. The difference between a higher earner claiming at 62 versus 70 is $2,212 per month at maximum benefit levels. For a more typical higher earner with a full retirement age benefit of $2,800, the difference between claiming at 62 and claiming at 70 is $1,264 per month. Over 15 years of survivor benefit receipt, that difference is $227,520. Most married couples have never sat down with both spouses' benefit estimates at different claiming ages and modeled the household income implications of different sequences. Many have simply claimed when they felt ready or when they needed the money, without understanding that the higher earner's decision is the most financially consequential Social Security decision the household will ever make. The action for this situation is to log into ssa.gov, access My Social Security for both spouses, note the benefit estimates at 62, at full retirement age, and at 70 for each spouse, and then model what the household receives under different claiming scenarios. The specific sequence that maximizes lifetime household income depends on the relative benefit amounts, the age difference between spouses, health considerations, and other income sources during any gap period. Now let me go deeper on the survivor benefit specifically, because this is where the largest dollar amounts exist and where the most people are leaving money on the table. The survivor benefit has a specific set of rules that differ from the spousal benefit available while both spouses are living. Survivor benefits can be claimed as early as age 60, compared to 62 for other Social Security benefits. If you are a widow or widower between 60 and full retirement age, and you have not yet claimed any Social Security benefit, you have the option to claim the reduced survivor benefit starting at 60. The survivor benefit also has a unique two-step opportunity that is not available to married couples with both spouses living. A widow or widower can claim the survivor benefit first, and then switch to their own retirement benefit later, or claim their own benefit first and then switch to the survivor benefit later. The optimal sequence depends on which benefit will be larger and at what age. For a widow whose own retirement benefit at 70 with delayed credits would be larger than the survivor benefit at full retirement age, claiming the reduced survivor benefit at 62 provides immediate income while her own benefit continues to grow. At 70, she switches to her own larger benefit. This produces more total lifetime income than any single claiming approach. For a widow whose survivor benefit at full retirement age is significantly larger than her own benefit will ever be, claiming her own reduced benefit at 62 and switching to the full survivor benefit at her survivor full retirement age provides the best outcome. Running both scenarios requires knowing the survivor benefit amount at full retirement age and your own benefit at 62, full retirement age, and 70. The SSA can provide the survivor benefit amount when you call. Your own estimates are available at ssa.gov. I also want to address the situation of people who are approaching the age of 60 and who are widowed but have not yet claimed any Social Security benefit. You may have the option to begin the survivor benefit at 60 rather than waiting until 62 for other benefit types. If your late spouse's benefit was significantly higher than yours, beginning the survivor benefit at 60 may provide meaningful income during a period when other options are limited. However, beginning before your survivor full retirement age produces a reduced survivor benefit, so the comparison between the reduced survivor benefit now and a larger benefit later is worth calculating. Let me close with the specific actions for this video. If you are a widow or widower and you are currently receiving your own Social Security benefit, call 1-800-772-1213 and ask whether your benefit is your own retirement benefit or a survivor benefit, and whether a switch to the survivor benefit would produce a higher monthly payment. If you were married for 10 or more years and are divorced, call the SSA and ask about the divorced spouse benefit or the divorced survivor benefit on your former spouse's record. Provide your former spouse's name and date of birth. If you are married and both you and your spouse have not yet claimed, or if only one of you has claimed, model the household income at different claiming ages at ssa.gov and identify the sequence that maximizes your combined lifetime income and survivor income. The benefit has always been there. The knowledge of how to access it is what has been missing. Send this video to one widow, one divorced senior, or one married couple approaching Social Security claiming age who has never had this specific conversation. I will see you in the next one. Let me go deeper on each of the three benefit situations, because the practical details matter for successfully claiming what you are owed. On the survivor benefit, I want to address the specific documentation needed when you call the SSA to apply or confirm. When you call about a survivor benefit, the SSA will typically ask for your Social Security number, your late spouse's Social Security number if available, the date of your marriage, the date of your spouse's death, and your current bank account information for direct deposit. If you do not have your late spouse's Social Security number, the SSA can usually locate the record using their full name, date of birth, and approximate state of residence during their working years. You will also typically need to provide documentation. A death certificate is the primary document. A marriage certificate confirms the marriage. If you were in a common law marriage, some states recognize this, and you may need additional documentation of the relationship. The SSA processes survivor benefit applications by phone and does not require you to submit documents online. The representative will tell you what to mail or bring to a local office. One important timing note: survivor benefits cannot be claimed retroactively beyond a limited period. If your spouse passed away several months ago and you have not yet applied, calling immediately prevents additional months of missed survivor payments. The SSA typically allows retroactive survivor benefit payments for up to 6 months in certain circumstances, but this is not guaranteed and depends on when and why the application was delayed. On the divorced spouse and divorced survivor benefit, I want to address the 10-year marriage requirement more specifically, because there are situations where people are uncertain whether their marriage length qualifies. The 10-year requirement is based on the length of the marriage before the divorce was finalized, not the length of any relationship that preceded the formal marriage. If you were together with someone for 15 years, but only legally married for 8 years before divorcing, the 8 years of legal marriage is what counts. If the legal marriage was 10 years or more, the entitlement exists regardless of any preceding relationship. Multiple marriages are handled separately. If you were married to person A for 12 years and divorced, and then married to person B for 8 years and divorced, you may be entitled to benefits on person A's record because that marriage met the 10-year threshold. Person B's record would not qualify because that marriage did not meet 10 years. If both marriages met the 10-year threshold and both former spouses are living, you are entitled to the higher of your own benefit or the divorced spouse benefit on whichever former spouse's record produces the larger amount. You cannot receive divorced spouse benefits from 2 different records simultaneously, but you can receive the highest available amount. For divorced seniors who are uncertain about the length of their marriage or who had multiple marriages, the SSA can help determine eligibility when you call. Providing the names, dates of birth, and approximate years of each marriage allows the representative to assess which records may produce an entitlement. On the spousal coordination strategy, I want to address the specific situation of couples where the spouses are different ages, because the age gap affects the optimal claiming sequence. For couples with a significant age gap, the younger spouse will typically outlive the older spouse by many years. The survivor benefit from the older spouse's record will be in payment for a longer period than the average. This makes the older spouse's claiming decision even more consequential than it would be for same-age couples. Consider a couple where the husband is 68 and the wife is 60. The husband has a full retirement age benefit of $3,000. The wife has a full retirement age benefit of $900. If the husband claims now at 68, his benefit is approximately $3,320, including 2 years of delayed credits past his full retirement age of 67. The wife will eventually receive that amount as a survivor benefit. If the husband delays to 70, his benefit becomes $3,720. The wife's eventual survivor benefit is $400 per month higher. If the wife outlives the husband by 20 years, the cumulative difference from the husband delaying 2 more years is $96,000 in additional lifetime survivor income. The 2 additional years of the husband's own benefit from 68 to 70 that were foregone are worth approximately $79,680. But the 20-year additional survivor benefit of $96,000 more than compensates. The husband's delay from 68 to 70 produces a net positive of approximately $16,000 in total household lifetime Social Security income. This is the type of calculation that most couples have never made, and making it changes the claiming decision for many of them. I also want to address the earnings limit that affects survivor benefits for widows and widowers who are still working and are below their full retirement age. In 2026, the earnings limit for Social Security recipients below full retirement age is $24,480 per year. For every $2 of earnings above this limit, $1 of Social Security benefit is withheld. This applies to survivor benefits just as it applies to retirement benefits. A widow who is 63 and earning $40,000 per year would have her survivor benefit reduced by approximately $7,760 per year due to the earnings test. If her survivor benefit is $2,000 per month, the withheld amount reduces her net annual survivor payment from $24,000 to approximately $16,240. Waiting until full retirement age to claim the survivor benefit eliminates the earnings test entirely. If you are still working and your earnings significantly exceed the limit, delaying the survivor benefit claim until full retirement age may produce more total survivor income despite the delay. Let me also address the interaction between the survivor benefit and Medicare, because this comes up frequently for widows and widowers who are approaching Medicare eligibility. Medicare eligibility begins at 65, regardless of whether you are receiving Social Security. You do not need to be receiving a survivor benefit to enroll in Medicare. Conversely, enrolling in Medicare does not require you to simultaneously begin your survivor benefit. For a widow who is 64 and approaching Medicare eligibility, enrolling in Medicare at 65 is independent of the survivor benefit decision. She can enroll in Medicare at 65 and continue to defer the survivor benefit until her survivor full retirement age to receive the maximum amount. The Medicare Part B premium will be billed directly if she is not receiving Social Security, rather than deducted from a Social Security payment. But this is a billing arrangement, not a benefit eligibility issue. Understanding that these are separate decisions with separate timelines allows for optimal planning of both. One final point I want to make about all 3 of these missing benefits. The Social Security Administration is not adversarial. They are not hiding these benefits. They are administering a complex system with limited staff and millions of claimants. When you call and ask clearly and specifically about whether a survivor benefit, divorced spouse benefit, or spousal coordination opportunity applies to your situation, the representative will help you understand your options. The call takes 15 to 30 minutes. The information you receive could change your monthly income by hundreds or thousands of dollars permanently. The only barrier has been not knowing to make the call. I will see you in the next one.